Candyman, 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 Candyman. Can't. Not this time. Want to hear my thoughts about the new Candyman film? Stay tuned and find out. So Candyman is a supernatural slasher film that was released on August 27th, 2021, and it was directed by Nia DaCosta, who her previous work was 2018's Littlewoods, and that film was released with critical acclaim, and she's also scheduled to direct the upcoming Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels, and that's for the MCU, and that will be released next year, 2022. DaCosta co-wrote the screenplay along with Win Rosenfeld and Academy Award-winning screenwriter Jordan Peele, who's famous for directing and writing Get Out and Us, and also the Key and Peele Show. And so Jordan Peele, Rosenfeld, and Ian Cooper also produced this film. And it's a direct sequel to the 1992 film of the same name, and it's the fourth film in the Candyman series. It's also based on the short story The Forbidden by Clive Barker, and I believe it negates the events that happened in the second and third films. And to be honest, I hadn't seen either the original or the two sequels that followed, so I entered the viewing of this new film with pretty much a blank slate, and I didn't really have a backstory. But this film, it debuted at #1 in the box office, and it's also the first rated R film to debut at #1 at the box office, and that's directed by an African American woman, so I thought that was pretty cool. But the film stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Anthony McCoy, who's a struggling visual artist looking for inspiration. Tiana Paris plays his girlfriend, Brianna Cartwright, who's an art gallery director, and she's known for recently playing Monica Rambeau in WandaVision. So she'll also be reuniting with Nia DaCosta in that film, in the Marvels film. And rounding out the main cast, Coleman Domingo plays William Burke, who's a Cabrini Green resident, and he's the one that tells Anthony about the Candyman legend. And Vanessa Williams, Tony Todd, and Virginia Madsen reprise their roles from the original film. So as far as the story goes, it centers around Anthony, and as he and his girlfriend move into a loft in a now gentrified area in Chicago. As I mentioned earlier, Anthony's a struggling artist, and he's looking for inspiration on his next project. And because of an urban legend that Brianna's brother tells him in the film, in the beginning of the film, he investigates an old low-income community that's, again, been gentrified, and he runs into an old resident, Coleman Domingo's character, Burke. And Burke tells Anthony the legend of the Candyman, the backstory of how he witnessed, somebody die. Spoilers, again, I'm going to go into slight spoilers. Burke witnesses an older black gentleman. He witnesses him die at the hands of the police, and he didn't deserve to die. So Anthony uses the legend, and also the legend includes, if you say Candyman 5 times in the mirror, the Candyman, entity kills you, essentially. So Anthony uses this legend as inspiration for his next piece, but he doesn't realize that he's actually unleashed the Candyman entity, and by doing so, it starts to warp his reality and eventually goes insane. And also it unleashes a wave of violence and death onto multiple victims. So, first and foremost, as far as what I enjoyed from the film, I enjoyed Nia DaCosta's direction. She brought out a lot of good performances from her actors, especially Yahya. His performance as Anthony, I thought he was great. He does an excellent job depicting a man that's slowly losing his mind and succumbing to this entity that he's, indirectly summoned. Coleman Domingo also has a good performance as he portrays a man that he seems pretty shady. He's all around creepy as it gets towards the end of the film. And DaCosta's directing definitely has me excited for her next film, which I mentioned is going to be The Marvels. So I'm intrigued to see how she, takes what she's learned in this film and applies it to a bigger budget movie like, an MCU film. And again, she'll be reunited with Paris as Paris reprises her role from WandaVision, and she'll be playing Monica Rambeau. Also, the cinematography by John, and I apologize if I mispronounce his last name. It's John Gulisarian? Again, apologies. But the cinematography was also a highlight for me, and his camera work really showed the scope of Chicago. And there's one scene in particular where the camera is zoomed out on this apartment building, and you can see a character getting murdered by the Candyman entity, and I thought it was the best kill scene. It was just very mesmerizing. Spoiler, as you can see, as you're zoomed out, it's zoomed out on this building, and you can see like the body of the victim getting like killed, and it's like dragged across the window, and you can see the blood coming across. I just thought it was a really mesmerizing scene, even though you don't really see how gory it is, but it implies that. So as with all Jordan Peele films and his scripts and his writing, the social commentary that is integrated with the story is relevant to stuff that goes on today in our society. And it just shows how the gentrification of low-income neighborhoods affects minorities, especially, within some African-American communities. There's also times in the film where the commentary is a little bit on the nose, as it involves how the police, can be corrupt and how they abuse their power over African Americans. And I understand what the message was trying to say, but I would prefer it be a little more subtle in its approach. And I really don't have too many gripes with this film, but some of the gripes that I have include, I felt that some of the characters were kind of underdeveloped, especially Tiana Paris's character. She kind of gets short-shifted. Right, there's something brought up about her, backstory, and the film doesn't really go into that backstory that much, and she doesn't really give that the time it deserves. And I thought Tony Todd's cameo was a little, to be honest, it was a little unnecessary and disappointing, considering he was such a vital part of the original. So I think fans of the original might have an issue with that. But overall, I enjoyed this film with its messagings on some social issues, and even though some characters weren't as developed as others, Nia DaCosta's directing was great. The script was pretty good, and the way the movie was shot was just really captivating, and those are all plenty of reasons of why I would recommend those who were fans of the original and those who may have never seen the original to check this new version out. So letter grade that I'll give it a B+. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the 2021 version of Candyman. let me know in the comments what you thought of the film, if you've seen it. And yeah, just give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification that lets you know when we drop a new video, and be on the lookout for new episodes of the Higher Notion podcast and other movie reviews as well. And we also put video game playthroughs, and we'll be doing music reviews as well, so be on the lookout for that. My next film review is probably going to be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, so I'll probably release that next week. And also look out for my album review of Kanye West's new album, Donda. I'll be getting into that. So yeah, again, thanks again for checking this out, and everybody be well and stay safe out there.